Who is Ilia Topuria's wife? Many speak about how Ilia Topuria married into a rich family, so who exactly is his wife? Well, her name is Georgina Bedel, and aside from her family apparently being wealthy, she herself seems to be a very smart and successful person, and she has a ton of work experience from being a real estate agent to being the CEO of Future and Energy, which is a company that works towards improving society by providing sustainable solutions. Aside from this, she also makes money through sponsorships as an influencer with over 500,000 followers on Instagram.
Georgina's category has finally spoken out, but not in the way anyone expected.
Recently responded to everything going on with him and his wife. If you don't know, him and his wife are supposedly having a tough time, maybe possibly getting a divorce. Spanish news spots are talking about it because they deleted all their pictures of each other off their social medias. And usually that's a sign that they're not doing well, that they're getting a divorce or something like that. He had this scary message to say while he was hitting pads at the house in training, saying this: "It doesn't matter what time you're going through, let nothing make you lose focus. Always focused, always strong. No matter what you're going through, don't let anyone make you lose focus. Always focused, always strong." I said this in another post. This is a post-divorce Ilia Topuria. I'd be terrified. I'd be terrified to go against him. I'm not gonna lie. This could either really hurt him, or this could really help him.
After weeks of silence surrounding rumors about her split from UFC superstar Ilia Topuria, the Venezuelan businesswoman took to social media to post deeply spiritual reflections that many saw as clear message about her current state of mind. Her words carried emotional weight and sparked a wave of speculation about whether the couple's 4-year relationship had truly come to an end. Her followers quickly noticed the shift. All of her shared photos with Topuria had quietly disappeared from Instagram, replaced by peaceful images of her home life in Madrid and her time with their young daughter. This sudden digital cleanup came shortly after the pair briefly unfollowed each other, something that first triggered breakup rumors back in late September. For fans who had seen them as one of the most solid couples in MMA, it was a surprise that stirred plenty of curiosity.
Oh my gosh. Ilia Topuria and his wife apparently broke up, guys. And look, I'm not trying to get too involved in this. I don't even know if it's true. These are all rumors. But, however, if this is true, and this is also true, then that only means one thing. And that one thing is that we are 100% going to be seeing this visual in Ilia Topuria's next fight. And yes, guys, we were going to get this visual regardless, but this puts the stamp on it, bro. The nail in the coffin. If Ilia Topuria and his girl really just broke up, bro, he's coming for vengeance. And Justin Gaethje, unfortunately, looks like he's going to be his next victim. And again, these are all rumors. I don't even know if it's true. I don't want to go into too much detail about it, man. It is sad, man. They seem like a power couple, right? But I'm going to say, Justin Gaethje, I know you're watching this, you're a subscriber, you're a follower to the page. You are absolutely cooked. Just go ahead and hang it up right now. Just go ahead and lay the gloves down. Go ahead and retire, because UFC fans around the world are about to remember you for the wrong reasons. The last visual we're ever going to see is you laid out head first, cold, on the canvas once again. But anyway, guys, again, I hope it's not true, but let me know what y'all think down below.
Behind the scenes, those close to the UFC featherweight champion said that Topuria was keeping his focus solely on training and staying sharp for his next fight, refusing to make any comments about his private life. Georgina, on the other hand, seemed to be turning inward. Her latest posts were not just pretty pictures, they carried the tone of someone choosing peace and faith over noise and gossip. Her captions were calm but filled with meaning, suggesting a woman leaning heavily on spirituality to guide her through a major personal change.
Does anybody get under your skin? You know what that means? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody that knows to say something that triggers. They see your face is saying something though.
I think the only person is my wife, probably. She's the only person. No one else, I think.
Seriously?
I think so.
That's very good.
Yeah.
You know, because you know that is a big strength of a lot of great ones were like that. Some of it wanted it. Some people wanted it. Like Michael Jordan's was, he wanted you to say something to him. Yeah. And then he would convince himself that you said something about him really bad. And then he wanted to kill you. That's what Michael would talk about. You know?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, he was playing basketball.
Right.
and I have enough of that energy that I wanna go in and take his head off.
Her social media activity began with a heartwarming image of her playing with her daughter in their Madrid home, a photo that radiated the bond between mother and child. While she didn't address Topuria or the rumors directly, the message behind her post was clear to anyone paying attention. It was about love, not the romantic kind that had everyone talking, but the kind that comes from family and inner strength. The tension between the couple had been quietly building for weeks. After the brief moment when they unfollowed each other at the end of September, when Georgina deleted nearly every shared photo of them together, reigniting talk that the relationship was in trouble. Topuria still kept a few family photos on his profile, including one from their daughter's first birthday.
Ilia Topuria and his wife broke up. Recently, fans noticed both Ilia and his wife, Georgina, removed multiple couple photos and unfollowed each other on Instagram, sparking speculation that their marriage may be over. Ilia then posted this image with the caption saying, "The king is coming. Nobody's safe. Line them up. The takeover continues." Is this a new version of Ilia Topuria? Heartbroken Ilia? Rest in peace to Georgina, his likely next opponent, or should I say the sacrificial lamb?
The couple's story began in 2021 when they met during a dinner in Madrid. Their chemistry was instant and they soon made their relationship public. After their daughter was born in 2023, they built a home together in the Spanish capital, a large, elegant house surrounded by greenery where Georgina managed both family life and her renewable energy ventures. For a while, everything seemed perfect. Ilia, a Georgian-born athlete who grew up in Spain, already had a son from a previous relationship, and together, they formed what many described as a tight, blended family. That's why Georgina's recent post felt like such a contrast. In one of her most discussed updates, she shared a message about her devotion to her faith, writing about how she finds comfort in God's presence and forgiveness. The timing of the post, coming just days after sources close to them suggested that the breakup was final, gave it extra meaning. She didn't sound heartbroken or bitter. Instead, her tone was that of someone finding peace after a storm, leaning on belief as her compass through change.
Actually, I met my wife in Miami.
Really?
Yeah, she was living there.
Damn. Who says you can't meet your wife in Miami?
But you can find your wife in any place in the world.
You hear that? Put that on Only in Date on Instagram. You can meet your wife in Miami.
Alright, let's go.
Put it on Only in Date, is hilarious.
Everywhere. But why are you saying that?
Huh?
Why are you
What?
saying that?
Everyone
Yeah.
says that.
Because you go to the party and this is the only place
Yeah.
you see. But you don't know the another part of Miami of the people that just they want.
normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
But
We
best
need
place
see
to
that
work
side.
out too, Miami, because you can just walk outside and run the water.
As the personal drama unfolds, the professional side of Topuria's story continues to heat up. Reports from Spanish journalist Alvaro Colmenero have hinted that the UFC is planning a massive event in January 2026 to celebrate its new broadcasting deal with Paramount Plus, and Topuria could be the centerpiece. The rumor floating around is that he might move up to lightweight to face Justin Gaethje, a matchup that has already set fight fans buzzing. The idea of Topuria versus Gaethje in Los Angeles would make for a huge start to the new year, and the timing couldn't be better for the UFC. Dana White had teased that two major events are coming soon, the first in January and the second being the historic UFC White House card in June, an event that's already grabbed headlines after President Trump confirmed his attendance. White has made it clear that the promotion wants to kick off its new network deal with something unforgettable, and a Topuria Gaethje main event would certainly deliver.
What?
What happened? Go
The
on.
UFC is planning for Ilia Topuria to headline its first Paramount card versus Justin Gaethje. That's the plan as of now.
You're lying right now.
That would mean Pimlet versus Holloway, which actually would fix a lot of the weird order of things.
Why Justin Gaethje?
You saw that as well, Nick? Gaethje said he would retire if he didn't get a title shot.
Well, if we're gonna go at that, I got Ilia Topuria knocking him out.
Yeah, same here.
I just feel after you've been dropped so much and you're gonna fight somebody who's a f***ing deadly striker, great wrestler, who has a chin, who's willing to put himself in the fire to land that shot, and not just the shot to the face. Let's not forget about Ilia Topuria's body work as well, right?
If this is the way they're going, they've made Dan Hooker versus Arman Sarukian. They've made Oliveira versus Gamrot. They've made now Topuria. If they're gonna do Topuria versus Gaethje, if this is the way they've gone, it only leaves Pimlet versus Holloway. which is
that's
still
a
stick
that's
fight.
a
If the fight comes together, it would also help sort out the messy picture at the top of the lightweight division. Arman Tsarukyan, currently the #1 contender, is set to fight Dan Hooker in November, while Max Holloway and Paddy Pimblett are both hovering near the title conversation without official matchups. Tsarukyan has made no secret of his frustration, saying he's the only one capable of dethroning Topuria. His self-confidence is understandable after recovering from a back injury that forced him out of a title shot earlier this year. He has been on a mission to reclaim his momentum. Tsarukyan is convinced that once he defeats Hooker in their main event in Qatar this November, the UFC will have to give him the title opportunity he has been chasing. He even suggested that the organization has been avoiding pairing him with Topuria because of how dangerous he is, an accusation that stirred plenty of debate among fans.
Your friend Arman Tsarukyan will be fighting Dan Hooker in November. How do you feel about that? Do you think it's a good fight for him?
Yes, absolutely. Arman Tsarukyan has more chance because of his grappler, but Dan Hooker is very experienced, very dangerous opponent because he was able to stop another grappler, Mateusz Gamrot. We'll see. It's an interesting fight.
Not everyone agrees with his take though. Demetrius Johnson, the legendary former champion, has voiced skepticism about how the UFC is handling things. While he doesn't dislike the idea of a Topuria versus Pimblett fight, he believes the sport should prioritize merit over marketing. For him, Tsarukyan has earned the shot, and skipping over him for entertainment's sake weakens the credibility of the rankings. Johnson's comments reflect a growing sentiment among hardcore fans who think the UFC has shifted too far towards spectacle.
Who is next for Ilia Topuria? Now, technically, it should be Arman Tsarukyan because he is truly the #1 contender. But they basically forced this Paddy Pimblett versus Ilia Topuria engagement because there is beef between those guys. They have had some exchanges before outside of the octagon, but this is where I had this hot take recently this week is that I said the UFC is not a sport. Like, they get to dictate what they want to push, the narrative of what the fans want to see, which that's not what a sport is dictated on. And it's funny because my dad and my wife Destiny were watching the fights and like, what the fuck, it's like WWE all over again. And you know, Michael was going off. He goes, why are they giving us Paddy Pimblett? It should be Arman Tsarukyan. And truthfully, it should be. The next contender for Ilia Topuria should be Arman Tsarukyan because he was the #1 contender and he was also the backup fighter for this fight who showed up, made weight, was ready to go. He looked like he was in shape.
Dustin Poirier, who recently retired after a loss to Holloway, also weighed in. He respects Paddy Pimblett's rise in popularity, but doesn't think the young Brit has done enough to deserve a title shot yet. Poirier suggested that a matchup between Pimblett and Holloway would make much more sense, a chance for Pimblett to truly prove himself before facing someone like Topuria. In Poirier's eyes, a single victory over Michael Chandler doesn't make Pimblett ready for championship contention.
If we're getting an Ilia fight in January, say, and it is either Gaethje or Paddy Pimblett, which fight would you rather see?
Gaethje.
Yeah. Do you think
Gaethje.
that's a harder fight for Ilia?
Man, he's such a precise striker and his timing's so good. And Gaethje, like I said before, puts himself in harm's way. It could be a horrible matchup for Gaethje, you know, if he lunges in and gets sniped in one of those clean shots. But also it could be a tough fight, you know, on the other side. It's tough, man. You know, playing matchmaker and how the fights go in my head, it's tough. Anything could happen in there. But here's one thing I'm sure of, respect to Paddy and everything he's done. I don't think a win over Michael Chandler, you know, on the streak that Chandler's on, the way his fights have been going, deserves a title shot right away. I know he's exciting and people are talking about him, but I would like to see him fight one more top 5 guy, one more tough test, and then we could talk about title fights for him. I think it's a little bit rushed for Paddy, if we're talking about him and Ilia. If I was a matchmaker, it would be Arman versus Gaethje. Winner of that gets title fight. Hooker versus Paddy. Winner of that's next in line. You know, that's the way I would have laid it out.
Then there is Sean O'Malley, who has an entirely different opinion. The bantamweight champion, known for his charisma and business sense, sees a potential Topuria versus Pimblett fight as gold. From his point of view, the hype, the backstory, and the energy surrounding their rivalry would make for one of the most entertaining build-ups in recent memory. O'Malley pointed out that their feud goes back years, starting with insults about nationality that escalated into a physical altercation in a London hotel. To him, it's the kind of storyline that sells itself regardless regardless of rankings.
Ilia Topuria, is he running from Armin?
Ilia's such a massive superstar right now. It's why fight Armin when you could fight Islam, or Gaethje's a bigger fight than Armin. Paddy's a bigger fight, so it's hard to picture anybody beating Ilia right now. Armin definitely has a chance. Why risk it against someone that's not super popular, who's very dangerous?
However, Dan Hooker didn't hold back his frustration over that idea. He criticized the notion of Pimblett getting a shortcut to a title shot, saying it would make a mockery of the division. Even he admitted that if he were in Topuria's shoes, he might take the fight too. Not because it's the toughest challenge, but because it's the most profitable. The honesty in that statement captured the conflict at the heart of modern MMA, the tension between business and sport.
Why November 22nd? Why Qatar? Why Dan Hooker? How did we end up here?
They said this year Ilia he's not gonna fight, so I said I'll fight to anybody because I haven't fought long time. Dan Hooker, Gaethje works for me. Finally, I heard Gaethje said no, and Hooker said yes, so we are in.
Through all the buzz, Ilia Topuria hasn't said a word publicly. Whether it's about his personal life or his next opponent, he's kept his focus on training, living the disciplined routine that's gotten him to the top, 6 workouts a week, long sparring sessions, endless conditioning. That's been his escape from the noise surrounding him. Georgina Iskatagui, meanwhile, seems to be walking her own path. Her business commitments continue, her focus remains on sustainability projects across Europe, and her presence on social media feels calmer and more reflective than ever. She no longer needs to say much, her actions and quiet faith speak for themselves. As both of their worlds move forward, one toward the cage, the other toward peace, fans are left wondering if their paths will ever reconnect. For now, the story of Ilia Topuria and Georgina Iskatagui has become more than a love story gone cold. It's a portrait of two people at very different crossroads, one chasing glory inside the octagon, the other finding strength in something far beyond it.